Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Welcome back to another edition of Man and Nature, produced by Batrisyia Afrina. For the next half an hour, you'll be joining me, Shaikh Saifuddeen by Shaikh Salleh, and a special guest panelist to continue our discussion on this season's theme on sustainability. This week, Alhamdulillah, we have in the studio Mr. Hairulazim bin Mahmud, General Manager, Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation, or MPOGCF, and this week we'll be doing a deep dive on the topic driving sustainability in the palm oil industry. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Hairulazim.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for having me this afternoon, Doctor.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to Man and Nature. Happy to have you on the program. Let's get straight on to the question. My first question to you is, I think many people may not be aware of or unfamiliar with the Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation. So perhaps I think it's best if we begin our discussion by you giving us a brief introduction about the Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Thank you, Dr. Shaikh. Let me begin with our background. MPOGCF, Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation. We are a foundation. We founded by Malaysian Palm Oil Council. Malaysian Palm Oil Council is agency under Ministry of Plantation and Commodities. We can call this MPOC as a marketing arm for our industry, palm oil industry. So they decided to establish one foundation to tackle the conservation and sustainability issues within plantation palm oil. So we were established in 2021. Before that, there's one we call it fund. We call it Malaysian Palm Oil Wildlife Fund, MPOWCF. Then after MPOWCF established, then the MPOC decided to upgrade MPOWCF to MPOGCF, Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation. We have four main objectives, Doctor. Number one is to encourage reforestation in areas that identified as degraded across Malaysia. Number two is to promote research and studies on the effectiveness of wildlife and biodiversity conservation efforts, particularly in endangered species in Malaysia. For example, Bornean elephant, tiger, or orangutan. Number three, we support NGOs in terms of funding wildlife conservation activities, biodiversity protection, implementation, the best sustainability practice in Malaysia. And number five is promote conservation initiative, is to encourage the adoption of the best practices, sustainability practices by the planters in terms of to conserve our wildlife and forests. Right. And lastly, enhance conservation and biodiversity and sustainability efforts that benefit both Malaysian and oil producer and consumers worldwide.
Right. Thank you, Cik Hairulazim, for enlightening us on what MPOGCF is. I'm particularly interested with the objectives as you have shared, in particular regarding activities to promote conservation and also sustainability, especially in the protection of wildlife. I think everybody is very much aware that when we talk about palm oil, somehow or other, whether we like it or not, palm oil seems to have quite a negative image, especially overseas. Yes. Palm oil has been blamed for deforestation and also wildlife extinction. And this has been the viewpoint held by many in the developed world, especially in the West. Now, in the context of Malaysia, what are the primary environmental impacts of palm oil plantation?
Okay, good question, Doctor. But, and it's true, palm oil does come with what we call it environmental challenge. But we in MPOGCF, we are focusing on solutions and action on the ground with measurable practice, conservation action within the palm oil landscape. I don't want to talk about the negative about our palm oil industry, but let me take all the listeners to the what we are doing now in the MPOGCF in the landscape of palm oil. First, we fund and support the conservation projects, particularly in areas that identify as the high conservation value area, HCV. These are the vital habitats that we protect, even the plantation within the plantation zone, where the endangered species like Bornean elephant and orangutan is still present. Number two, we trying our best to promote the public-private partnership. A good example is our recent project with SOPB, Sarawak Oil Palm Berhad. Through this, we try to conduct joint scientific research, monitor biodiversity, and we carry out the on-the-ground conservation activities. Thirdly, we try our best to work on the wildlife conservation or mitigation. This include installing the elephant barriers, for example, the electric fencing, we conduct wildlife corridors study, and supporting the coexistence of the strategies to help both plantations and wildlife thrive. The work on wildlife conflict mitigation is not easy, Doctor. We have to talk to the public, to the smallholders, to convince them that we must work together to make sure especially our wildlife is not killed by them, to help them to understand how they want to manage the wildlife. That's what we are doing now. Fourthly, we engage the local communities. We believe the conservation only works when the communities involved with our work, our program, because they are the people living near the plantation. They are the people who have their own plantation at the backyard. So this what are we doing now must involve and benefit from the effort from the communities. And finally, we support the adoption and strengthening the sustainability certification like MSP or the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Certification. We encourage plantation companies to go beyond compliance and adopt best practices and their land use and biodiversity management, Doctor.
Right. I'm very much interested with the activities and efforts that have been taken by Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation. How successful have these efforts been since you've been established in 2021,
Yes.
close to 5 years, 5 years now?
Yes.
So how would you rate your success in implementing these efforts?
Well, our goal is simple, Doctor. Is to ensure that economic development and in the palm oil sector goes hand in hand with environmental responsibility. We want Malaysian palm oil planters and to be recognized globally, not just for its quality, but for commitment, for the nature and the sustainability. I think out of 10, I would say what we are doing now, we can put ourselves in maybe 5 or 6 out of 10, because there's much things we must do out there. There are many people, our planters, especially our smallholders, they still don't understand what this conservation is all about. It will take more knowledge for them to gain. They have to learn, and then They have to understand what this conservation is all about. Do they have to spend more money for the conservation? Do they have to sacrifice their yield or their land or their plant or their
Crops.
areas, crops? That's the thing we have to teach them or share with them about conservation.
Right. Moving on, how effective are current certification schemes such as the RSPO, Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, in mitigating the negative effects of palm oil cultivation and ensuring that palm oil is environmentally sustainable?
Okay. Let us talk about MSPO. Actually, RSPO and SPO is a similar certification. We the planters, the industry must compliance both RSPO and MSPO. But Malaysian government they are doing very hard to establish MSPO to the international level. MSPO firstly is to improve the standard. That is the MSPO is all about. It's require companies to adhere the two criteria such no deforestation, protection of the HCV areas, and responsible waste and pesticide management. That's number one. Number two is to raise awareness. MSPO is to raise awareness. MSPO help to bring global attention to sustainable practice and push the industry to better environment responsibility. And for the other reason is about better traceability. With MSPO, the certification will improve supply chain transparency, helping buyers and consumer to ensure the better environmental sustainability is implemented by the planters. And lastly, encourage the best practice. The MSPO is to adoption for more sustainable land use and planning, biodiversity protection, and reduce the greenhouse gas emission.
You've actually explained quite a bit on sustainability efforts. So overall, how would you describe the ways that the palm oil industry supports sustainability efforts?
At the moment, if I've not mistaken, for MSPO, there's 95% of our planters and smallholders already adopting the MSPO. Right. That's the proof that they are supporting the sustainability efforts in their landscape, in the oil palm landscape, to produce a sustainable product from the oil palm. This sustainable certification is actually increasing adopting certification scheme like RSPO, MSPO, which promote responsible production practice. This certification also to ensure that palm oil produced without causing deforestation, protecting endangered species, and they maintain the biodiversity. Number one. Number two is protecting the natural habitats. Sustainable palm oil production in conservation HCV area is very crucial, which are vital and for habitat for wildlife. These include preserving the forest, ecosystem where species like Malaysian tigers and Bornean elephant, orangutan live, and implement wildlife corridor to reduce the fragmentation. And then lastly, the climate change mitigation. The palm oil industry is working to reduce the carbon footprint by promoting peatland protection and reducing greenhouse gas emission, especially in Sarawak, because we have the peat soil. The biggest peat soil is in Malaysia is in Sarawak.
I see.
And then the plantation companies are encouraged to use the best practice to prevent burning and land clearing that release harmful emissions into the atmosphere.
Mr. Hairulazim, does MPOGCF engage with stakeholders? Especially, I know that when it comes to palm oil, we're talking about indigenous communities, also the local stakeholders in ensuring environmental sustainability. And if you do, how do you engage with them?
Yes, we have. We have projects that involve indigenous and these smallholders. At the moment, we have about 3 projects. is the orangutan habitat rehabilitation in Sabah. Before this, we call it 1 million tree planting project, but now we try to establish the new name, orangutan habitat rehabilitation in Sabah. This project focuses on restoring degraded areas, forest area that are vital habitats for, especially for orangutan. It's involved the community from Kampung Tampinau, Kampung Tampinau in Lahad Datu, to place the central role by supplying the seedling, forestry seedling, contributing directly to reforestation effort. So we buy the seedling from orang kampung, so they have the new income, and then at the same time they support and the effort to reforestation. This is not only to support the ecosystem recovery, but also to create sustainable income to Kampung Tampinau people and opportunities for them.
Right. You also have initiatives in Perak, right?
Yeah.
This is regarding the Harimau Malaya.
Yes.
Could you tell us a bit about that?
Okay, Harimau Malaya, Doctor, is the national agenda. As we all know, Harimau Malaya is nearly 200 Harimau Malaya in Semenanjung. We cannot find Harimau Malaya in Sabah and Sarawak. It's only in Semenanjung. So because it's a national agenda, we in the industry feel that we must support this agenda. And Harimau Malaya, if we not doing something about Harimau Malaya to breed them, to increase their population, otherwise I think in maybe 20 or 30 years we don't have any Harimau Malaya in our country, just like badak sumbu, rhinoceros. So we don't want to repeat the same mistake what we have done. So as an industry with related to forests and related to wildlife, then we support the national agenda is the to increase the population of the Harimau Malaya.
So the Harimau Malaya, the Malayan Tiger Project, is based in Sungai.
Yes, based in Sungai. They have the Malaysian Tiger Conservation Center over there for breeding and rewilding. It's under Perhilitan. So we work and together with Perhilitan, we support them to make sure that their success in what they are doing, especially for Harimau Malaya.
Right. Hairulazim, one thing that struck me is that all these efforts need money.
Yes.
And so one of my previous guests in last year's Men and Nature actually said that conservation without money is only conversation.
Yes,
so
exactly.
What are your comments on that, especially with regards to the work that you're doing?
Yes. If you don't have money, you don't talk about conservation. Conservation is a very long period program. It's not a short-term project. It's not. We cannot just dump amount of money to run a conservation project. Otherwise, we will be labeled by the international NGOs, by the international community or conservationists in international conservationists as a greenwashing. Okay, greenwashing. Greenwashing in Malay we call it acah hijau.
That's right.
Acah hijau. So it's important for us to make sure that our program, our projects is not labeled as a greenwashing. Otherwise, it's a very bad perception for the international to what we have done in Malaysia. So it's very important that all the people that involved, the stakeholders, support this green conservation and conservation works. Yes, it will take a long period. It's not we cannot do anything in short period, because conservation is all about our nature. It's all about our wildlife. It's all about our life in this world. So That's why the industry, the palm oil industry, make a decision, a very good decision that we must respect them, that they will support this conservation works in Malaysia.
I think from my perspective at least, your efforts in ensuring conservation and also wildlife protection is very much commendable. I'm just curious, how many people do you have actually working at MPOGCF?
We are a very small team, around 19 people. But we manage our project and programs, and then we have our partners, strategic partners. Most of them is the experts in their field in wildlife and forestry. Of course, we work together with authorities like Perhilitan, Forestry Department, and in Sabah with Sabah Wildlife Department and Sabah Forestry Department, and also with NGOs, and also with our main stakeholders is the planters, the plantation company.
Okay, do you get the students from universities to be involved in your programs? Because I think they are the future.
Yeah.
They need to know what you're doing. They need
Yes.
to be involved,
Yes.
and you need to get them to be part of your efforts. So, if you do, how do you do that with the university
Yes,
students?
one of our target audience is students, regardless secondary students or university student. We work together for research. We work together with universities. Of course, the research is led by the professor of the researchers. But in the team, they have the students. The research assistant, and then the students also, the master student. And then we arrange a program, awareness program. We support their program regarding to biodiversity program. Anything to do with wildlife and forestry, but in palm oil landscape.
Right. In your opinion, how can palm oil production be balanced with biodiversity conservation to ensure sustainable development?
It can be done.
But it's not easy.
Yes, it's not easy. It's not easy because all this while, this industry has been a long time in Malaysia, and the first generation of planters, I would say they don't like this kind of program, the conservation, the sustainability. But things change. They are changing. They knew that if they don't do this, they will left out, and then our economy will be we cannot sell our product, our palm oil product. Last year, palm oil sectors contribute 102 billion, more than 100 billion to our economy. So
And this is in Ringgit Malaysia?
Yes, Ringgit Malaysia.
Okay.
It's a big numbers, so they don't have much choice. They have to work hands in hands with conservationists or to make sure that their product is sustainable.
Right. I think one of the challenges is that we face is that we know that palm oil is important for our economy,
Yes.
but at the same time, Malaysia is a very rich country when it comes to biodiversity.
Yes.
So we have to strike a balance
Yes.
Between our economic needs and also the need to protect our environment.
Yes, exactly.
We are coming to the end of our program. Perhaps before we end, if I can get some concluding remarks from you, especially with regards to our topic, driving sustainability in the palm oil industry.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Actually, at MPGCF, we believe that palm oil production, Doctor, and biodiversity conservation can and must coexist. Otherwise, there will be no sustainable palm oil. Then our economy will be, I think, it's not prosper without this coexistence between palm oil and sustainability. Our role is to help and make that balance reality. We do this by supporting responsible practice and on the ground, especially like protecting the HCV area and promoting wildlife corridors. although talking about wildlife corridors, although some conservationists don't believe it will succeed, but it's already proved that it will succeed. It's already success. And encouraging sustainable land management through the MSPO certification. That's our belief, Doctor.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hairulazim, for your insightful sharing on the topic driving sustainability in the palm oil industry into this edition of Man and Nature. I know that today's topic is not an easy subject to discuss,
yes, exactly.
but I think it's a very important subject that we have to somehow deliberate upon, and I think it's also important for our listeners to understand what you're doing and how Malaysia as a country is trying to ensure that there is a balance, like you said, palm oil industry and sustainability, conservation, wildlife can coexist together. So the thing is that we know that the nation's economic interest has to be protected, and at the same time the importance of ensuring the sustainability of the natural world must also be ensured. So the topic, as we know, is critical, because we need to strike a balance between the environment and the economy, which in reality is not something that can be done with ease. So let's pray that all our efforts to sustain the environment will bring the necessary results, and we applaud the efforts undertaken by MPOGCF, and we hope that these will bear the necessary fruits that will ensure the right balance between environment and the economy. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this week's Man and Nature. Hopefully, our discussion today has been informative and beneficial to all who are listening. Do tune in again next week at the same time for another interesting topic on sustainability. For the last 30 minutes, you have been listening to Man and Nature. I'm Shaikh Muhammad Saifuddeen by Shaikh Muhammad Salleh, signing off. Until next week, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.